All right, so let's get going.
I like it.
Welcome to the show. Today I have with me my friend Bram Jay, all the way from gray skied Los Angeles today.
Yeah.
But welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks. Of course. Of course.
Cool. So you are out of Los Angeles, and I was just thinking before I jumped on with you about how all the people that want to get into acting in North America, they go to Los Angeles. And so it's like a high concentration of the most attractive people in the world. And you happen to be a photographer capturing that. So what's life like for you, Bram?
Life's been great. I mean, it is a saturated market here. I'm not going to lie. So it is difficult to kind of get the name out. The best thing you can do is try and find that niche, find what you want to shoot, what you're passionate about, and, kind of go forward. I'd lived a 9 to 5 life for about 20 years in corporate finance, and photography is a little bit newer for me, probably about 5 years. And in the last 12 months, right after COVID, has probably been the best year for me. A lot of networking, a lot of working on my portfolio, taking a lot of people that I've admired, taking their words of wisdom and trying to like evaluate my work and seeing the areas where it's been deficient, and then trying to like make those adjustments, fine tune the portfolio, and just really trying to elevate my game with every shoot.
How sorry, you mentioned some of the other photographers. Who
Yeah.
are some people that inspire you? Who are some people that you maybe emulate or look up to in terms of style of shooting or work ethic or whatnot?
Great question. Probably some of the people that helped me the most and that I've looked up to for years. One in particular is going to be John Shell, great lifestyle photographer here from Los Angeles. Kate Moore, also a fantastic photographer. A couple other ones are going to be Christopher Shintani, Lucas Passmore, Alex Stone. Those are probably like my people that I really look up to and have helped me greatly in the last 12, 18 months. So
nice. So
yeah.
what I mean, I've seen your portfolio there, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks.
What did you start shooting? Like you said, you've been into this boat for 5 years. So what was your journey like getting into photography?
Like I said, I lived a corporate lifestyle in banking for a long time. Photography was running a little bit on the side. I got into photography originally kind of haphazard. I was doing some off-road racing, Baja 1000, Baja 500, and the team was looking for sponsors. And so what I did is I went out to Costco, got a camera, little Canon Rebel kit, and then I started documenting the race team and putting a package together, and we would kind of like door knock sponsors, and so that's how I got into photography. It later branched off into doing some portrait work. Friend of mine's daughter was graduating high school, and they were like, Bram, hey, do you think you could take some pictures of my daughter? And so then it started with that, and then it went to engagements, weddings, and then finally a friend of mine kind of reached out and said, hey, I'm going to the desert with this model, would you want to come along and just hang out and shoot and and kind of be there with us? And I was like, yeah, why not? So I did that, and I found just like, I don't know, just a click. I loved working with people one-on-one, loved being in an environment, trying to create. And so that was maybe probably about 7 years ago now. And then it just kind of like evolved, DJ, like it just kind of like consumed me. And I was working, like I said, in that job, and then that business had closed down, and life kind of took me on this quick like fork in the road, as they say. And I just, I kind of like put all my cards into photography about 5 years ago, and here I am now. Yeah. So.
Nice. What about it?
Yeah.
What about it drew you? Why photography?
I always really I always wanted to be creative kind of growing up. I never considered myself an artist. I mean, I dabbled a little bit in music, playing guitar, and I'd love to draw a little bit here and there, but I was never like really good at it growing up. And I was always so jealous of people that were creative, either with their hands or their mind, or, could create things. And I found a little bit of, I don't want to say success, but like people were kind of, they liked what I was doing. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So, when I hit that fork in the road, I was like, you know what, I'm at this age bracket, and I'm just going to go full in and put all my chips in, and this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make it happen. So, it's been tough, but I wouldn't have it any other way. The met places I've seen in the world with the camera, I just I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Nice. So you started shooting on that Rebel kit you picked up at Costco, and I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of photographers out there can probably, it reminds them of a similar story of their own background. That I myself started with the Rebel kit as well, and
Okay.
and that's why I stuck with the Canon ecosystem, because when I upgraded, I was just like, all right, well, I'm just going to stick with what I know.
Yeah.
So what do you shoot on now typically? Like what's your typical setup, and what's your preferred setup?
Still in the Canon system, like just it's always been natural, and any time I've upgraded, it's always been through Canon. I think I went from Rebel to 40D, 5D3, 5D4. So that's pretty much what I'm rolling with right now. I hope to get into a mirrorless one day. It's on the Christmas list, so we'll see what happens
Right.
this year. But yeah, Canon 5D4. My preferred setup is that body, and 24 to 70 is probably what I shoot 90% of my personal portfolio work with.
Nice.
24 to 70, 70 to 200, of course, and 50 occasionally. So those are probably like,
Yeah.
the three that everybody has, but
Yeah.
24
Yeah.
to 70 is like 90% of what I like to shoot. So
Amazing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are the three. Like if you're going to have a prime,
Right.
50 is a good one to have. And then of course
Right.
you got your range covered with that 24, 70, 70 to 200. That's great. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, actually you sent me a bunch of your portfolio work here, and we're going to take a look at some of these photos. And before we get onto that, you shoot a lot of people. You said you started with the Baja series. Is it like, do you like going to shoot other stuff as well, or is it primarily that interpersonal interaction, I guess, that you really like?
Are you saying currently?
Generally.
Generally, I mean, yeah, that's where I shoot now. I used to shoot a lot of landscape, a lot of like seascape, long exposure, very like, I live by the beach. I'm blessed to be here, so we have a lot of cool landscapes and things to shoot, and that's what I kind of was doing on the side a little bit, just for more like leisure and kind of like therapy. But yeah, I mean, everything right now is people. I have some friends that are musicians, so I'll go out and kind of shoot some shows for them and kind of do that as fun. But everything I do now is like either people or product oriented.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So in no particular order.
Oh wow.
Here we go.
Oh man, this is so brutal. This whole exercise was tough, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But thanks for pushing me to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. What before we get on to describe this photo, then what was the exercise? I asked you to get 5 of what I said is your favorite photos. So favorite can mean a lot of things to different people, but what led you to select these 5?
Oh yeah, if anybody comes on this show, TJ is brutal. He's brutal. Makes you do this hard work, this heavy lifting before you come on. So yeah, it was asked of me to say in 5 pictures or pick 5 pictures that I guess maybe that says who you are or what you like to shoot. So, in 5 years, I've taken a lot of photos. I've worked with a lot of people. So to really narrow down, I guess, who you are in 5 images is very, very tough. I actively print a portfolio, 11 by 14 portfolio. And I think the last time I did this was maybe 6 months ago. And I have 20 images in my portfolio, and that was tough then to pick 20. So when TJ said, hey, let me get it down to 5, I was like, wow, this is going to be a good one. So I spent a good amount of time trying to get not only current stuff, but maybe some other images that go back a few years and speak who I think I am as an artist. So
nice.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Great, cool.
Yeah.
So all these shots are wonderful. I love to hear about them. So explain to me the story behind the shot, and then maybe we'll talk about some of the setup you have and so on.
Okay, great. So I think this is probably the newest image that I've shot and that I really feel. And the reason why I think this one's special to me is this one is actually shot on film in the studio, which isn't something I do often. But it was kind of one of my goals in 2023 to play with this setup a little bit more. So this was shot on, I think it's going to be I'd have to guess, I don't know the exact year, but it's a Canon 10D. So it's EOS system, but film based. And this is Portra 160 in the studio, single light, subject left side. You can kind of see the catch light in the eye, and it was lit with the big Elechrome. And it was in a smaller studio space, so it was kind of white. We're using a white backdrop, just a seamless paper, and then the studio's pretty small. And so I think the bounce from would be subject right side is kind of given that natural fill. So yeah, Portra 160, 24 to 70. And yeah, so the film and in lighting in studio, I think is something beautiful, and I want to kind of experiment with it more. So yeah, I think that's why I picked this one.
One of the things I noticed that's consistent among all your work that attracts me to it is just impeccable composition. I love your composition of your shots. I love the light of your shots. So those 2 things bang on. And then some of this, I'm actually curious to ask you, how much of the posing is you coaching and how much is it of your subjects doing the pose? Because I think the posing in your photos is great too.
Thanks. I mean, your words, I mean, man, really, like, I feel like flattery. You're making my Monday here big time. So thanks, man. Appreciate it. Um, like I'm, I feel fortunate to have worked, or that I'm working with talent that is experienced. So that's definitely one of it. I mean, I can look back at some previous work and I can tell the difference of who I work with then to who I work with now. So I'm fortunate to have that, and I think that helps you grow. Is you're always trying to work with people that are above your level, and
Mm,
that's what I've been trying to do. Is trying to to get to that next level and have people push me. So that's something always as a growing artist that I think is a great thing, great step to do, is to try and find somebody that's above you and they help push you. Um, I'm not a micromanager on set when I'm testing. For me personally, I love just to kind of set a story and a mood, and I really just like to let the model work and then be in the moment enough to see that picture happen and then grab that frame. Like I said, I'm not a very big like go over there and look cute and grab your shirt and let's see what happens. It's more of
right.
like, here's the story, Lisa. You know, look at this and feel this, or I'm usually playing music, so I'll be like, listen to the song, move, and then I'm trying to find that one moment that happens.
Nice.
So yeah.
To learn how to shoot and how to work with people. Today's episode is brought to you by Prairie View Photo Tours. Prairie View Photo Tours invites photographers of all levels to book their all-inclusive, authentic Alberta adventure at pvphototours.com. To learn how to shoot and how to work with people outside of just doing it more and more and more and learning through your experience, did you have a mentor, a coach? Did you go to YouTube? Like, how did you learn?
A little bit of everything, a lot of trial and error, to be honest. A lot of trial and error. And I watched the YouTube. Yeah, I did. Trial and error, being on set, working with people, I think I mean, there's no substitute for like hands-on, at least in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I like for my type of like learning. I mean, there might be some people that are so gifted and they can just do it right out of the bat. I mean, I'm even more jealous and envious of those people. But for me, it was a lot of just like hands-on. I'm going to get my hands dirty. I'm going to shoot, shoot, shoot. In the last couple of years, like I was saying when we started, I've been fortunate to have a couple people that have helped me. I've taken workshops from these photographers one-on-one and kind of taken their advice, and they'll watch, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. Not what you're doing wrong, but here's where I think you could improve. Use these type of angles, use these type of words, coach. So it's a little bit of everything, but not so much YouTube anymore. It's more for me is just shooting, and trying to take like one thing away from every shoot, whether it's a client,
Nice.
a test shoot, and just trying to grow from every image or every session.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Every day moving forward and getting better.
have to growth. Yeah, for sure is a big thing for me.
All right. Moving from indoor studio shot outdoors.
Yeah, this is a meaningful one too. So this is a friend of mine, Lauren, and I was challenging myself to basically make a story, and so this is a shot that ended up becoming an editorial and was published, I think, with Last Days magazine. And so, I'm a big fan of trucks and cars, and obviously beautiful women. And so this was a story of a girl broken down on the highway. That was kind of the premise of the story. And so this is my friend's 88 Chevy Blazer, and I had kind of a mood in mind, mood board. I pitched it to Lauren and said, "Hey, this is what I want to do. I've got a makeup artist on board. Can you bring some styling pieces?" And we just went out and shot it, maybe a few miles from my place. And yeah, we spent a couple hours doing this, and this is one shot. And again, it's so hard. Like there was 20 images published, and it was really hard for me to pick one. But I think this spells the scene out the most. Like I said,
Yeah.
just girl broken down, hitchhiking her way back to, you know, safety. So
Awesome.
yeah,
I love that bag that she has there, her little case that she's carrying.
yeah. I sourced that at a garage sale. I think I was just driving by, and I think it was like a makeup case from like the 50s, and so yeah, she brought the styling and it all worked, and yeah, this was a cool day. I like looking at it. It's been a while since I've seen this set, and it was fun to kind of go back and relive that moment.
So it looks like you have no clouds in the sky and it's really harsh light, which works really well for this. And I know a
Yeah.
lot of people, I can't say a lot, that's a generalization, but many will say people are afraid of shooting in harsh light and they try to run away from it. So it looks like you're embracing
Right.
it. What's your secret sauce here?
I appreciate you saying that, and that's so, so true, and I live by that, like, I've only can shoot super early in the morning, or I can only shoot super late at night, or it's gotta be in shade, and the truth of it is that that is not real life. Like, we don't always live under perfectly overcast skies, and we don't live in a complete, even lit world. So I think it is just like you said, it's just embracing it and just going after it. This shot may have not worked as well if she was backlit or maybe side lit. So I think I maybe got a little bit lucky with Mother Nature and the time because I had the road picked out. I was looking for something kind of desolate. And, I mean, I think maybe Mother Nature just blessed me with the sun being up that time of year and getting that full front lit with a car in the background. Because again, if it was a little more backlit, things would have been blown out and might have not worked as well. So I think I did get a little bit lucky, but I do love shooting hard light, full front like that, and I think it's I think it shows what real life kind of looks like.
Awesome. And like obviously the model, your friend here is doing a great job. And you said you
Yeah,
had a makeup artist on board and stuff. So it's
yeah,
it's just really nice to see an image like this. And like when you have a team of people all kind of come together and they're all firing on all cylinders, it's just magic what you can
yeah,
create. This is wonderful.
yeah. Thanks very much. I remember this girl actually like so if you look like past where she's kind of standing, that road actually leads to a military base down here in San Clemente.
Okay.
Where I live, and I can't tell you how many cars actually stopped for this girl as I was
Oh,
shooting. It was
that's great.
yeah, it was a joke. A couple MPs actually had come by and were like, "Hey, do you guys need help?" Like, we gotten calls, like, because the gate's probably, like, 3 miles down the road, and they're like, "Yeah, we got,
Right,
like,
right.
calls of, like, this girl, like, like, hood up and door open and, like, 'Hey, do you guys need help?'" So, it was quite funny, and a couple people stopped and wanted to take some selfies with her. Yeah, it was a pretty funny moment.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. So another outdoor shoot. Oh, are
Yes,
you're
sir.
not using this is all natural light, right? You're not using, are you
It
using
is.
any lights outside of the sun?
No, no, generally not. Like a lot of my like this is from a test shoot. The models agency wanted me to shoot with her, kind of help build a portfolio, and I loved her look, I loved her hair, and so I was like, yeah, come on down. And so a lot of these things, DJ, are just me with a model. I don't like to bring too much equipment. It's me, the model, and just trying to make images. So yeah, a lot of stuff. It's just again just natural light.
Awesome. So
Yep.
yeah, so test shoot on this one. You like the texture
So
and
she,
the her hair and everything like that. And yeah, great. So how like what went into this specific shot? Like is she just are you telling a joke? Like what's
Yeah, I wish I had really good jokes. Mine are like really bad dad jokes. I should probably work on some of my material for this year. So hopefully that'll be a mental note to do is get my jokes up because yeah, they're getting used over. Um, this is Jenna, and this is my styling, and I was like, okay, it's got the number on there. It's kind of like a jersey-esque, and then so this baseball diamond is like right down the street from my place, and I was like, hey, let's take a walk over, and I wanted to be really like lighthearted. I think this, if I can kind of like say what I like to shoot, these are the type of images I do like to make. It's that very, I don't know, Southern California,
hmm,
bright, um, not always looking at camera. And I think a lot of models will get stuck like wanting to look head on towards the lens. And I think something like this really makes me stop and think like, oh, did the photographer tell a joke? What's so funny? What's going on in the moment?
mhm.
So I'm always trying to
You
push
want to
myself to
you want to know what
go
she's
ahead.
thinking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, if somebody like you can pick up on that, then that's like I feel like we're doing our job together, me and the model. So, I think I just maybe I'd said something funny, and I said, "Hey, do your best to like think like I told a good joke." So, yeah, and then again, it's just firing, a couple of moments. Sometimes you have to, press heavy on the shutter to get these right moments, but
Mhm.
I think she did well, and the baseball diamond and the atmosphere, I think tie in with the jersey.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think the styling, location, feel, lighting, I think really just kind of like came together on this one.
I'd like to point that out actually, because you
Yeah.
commented on the jersey and how you picked basically the setting based on the styling, which and it all goes together. And the image makes sense. I see some photos out there when I'm scrolling through my feeds of styling that like it just doesn't make sense for like the environment or whatever. It's just this cognitive dissonance that hits me when I look at that
Mm,
photo. And an image like this, it just looks so effortless and natural, right?
thanks.
But you put
Thanks.
some thought into it and you put it together on purpose, and it's that intent that makes it look so flawless and natural.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate the kind words. Seriously, like I feel so humbled.
All right. So this next one is actually my favorite image that you sent me out of all the
Okay.
ones. And I love this one. I love basically when you're using, I love the truck or the car. It looks like a truck maybe she's in, and that you use it as a in picture frame. And I love when images do that. So this is great. And the eye contact too, I like.
Yeah. This is probably the oldest picture that I submitted to you, and this is I would consider probably one of my first shoots I ever did. Like really planned out model. We rented this VW bus for the shoot and shot it down kind of where I live. And yeah, so this is probably like the going back. This is like I said, probably the oldest photo I think I have. I think it's from 2016. And yeah, I mean, it just worked. And the framing that now that you say that, I totally get it. I may have not thought that consciously, but I see what you're saying. Like, and that makes sense. I think, um, yeah, like looking at this one, again, it kind of makes me smile because it's funny because it's so old, but I use this image as my business card. I use this a lot, and it's so old, but I think it like says who I am in one photo or who I want to be at least, you know. Um, I'm a real big kind of Southern California influenced photographer. I grew up, you know, on the beaches here in San Clemente and Laguna Beach, and Pakistan's probably like my dream client to shoot for. Free people, you know, anybody like that that's got that lighthearted, bright, kind of airy vibe is kind of who's on my radar. And I think
Nice.
this image embodies that. Blonde girl, smiling, old car, bright, airy kind of edit. So yeah, I appreciate you saying those things. And yeah, I'm kind of smiling looking at this image, just thinking about the day and what it took to make it. So yeah, it's cool.
A couple things. One, the small detail of the hula dancer there on the dashboard in the bottom left. I
Yeah,
love that.
thank you.
And also, well, and that actually gives us some context, right? That really tells you it's kind of like surf beach vibe, right? Rather
Yeah,
than just,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
also, this could be a photo from 1960. This could be a photo from 2020.
Mm.
And you've achieved like a certain timelessness. And so I really, yeah, this is a great photo. And like you said, it's one of your oldest photos, but it doesn't matter. It'll stand the test of time. 20 years from now, it'll still be just as great a photo.
Thanks. I think that's like a huge point. If a photo can kind of like live on past its generation, you know, I think that's a great
Yeah.
point. And yeah, thanks for saying that. Yeah, that means a lot.
All right, here we are with the next one. And
Uh,
different setting. This is urban. Is this Los Angeles as well?
no, this is actually Cape Town, South Africa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, the camera's taken me all over the world. And yeah, I was fortunate to be kind of like living here for about 2 years, kind of traveling back and forth between here and Los Angeles, or San Clemente is really where I live, but south of Los Angeles. And yeah, this is one of those like you said, hey Bram, like think of some photos with stories. And so that's why I picked this one. Some may know who this is. This happens to be Demi Lee Tebow. And for any of you football fans, this is yeah, Tim Tebow's now wife. At the time, she was just engaged. And yeah, so I was living in South Africa, and I was working with a couple model agencies, and the owner of the agency said, "Hey, like Demi Lee is in town. Would you want to shoot her? We like what you're doing with some of our other models you're testing with." And I was like, "Yeah, Demi Lee. I've heard the name." And I had a friend sitting next to me that was from there, and I was like, "Hey, who is this girl?" And she was like, "Oh, you don't know who Demi Lee is?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Oh, she's Miss Universe 2017, maybe 2008, one of those years." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I checked her out on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, of course, I'm going to shoot this girl." So I was living in this apartment in the city, and she came over, full team, like publicist, styling. Well, actually, sorry, I had a little bit of styling. She had styling, but I had a makeup artist. She came with a publicist, and yeah, we shot for a couple hours. And yeah, I think this is probably one of my favorite images from the day. Um, I like the definitely the urban setting out back, which is something that at that point was a little bit um, out of my normal. Like it wasn't on the beach, and so I like kind of the city in the back. It tells kind of where we are. And then for her, I think what I said on this one was like, hey, I really want to get something with some strong body language. I don't want the like sweet pageant girl. Like I don't want any of that. I really want something like dynamic. And I really, for me, I don't like straight shoulders. So I was like, really break the
Mhm.
shoulders, give me some good like body language. And yeah, she ended up just like kind of like rocking on the hip and then like grabbing the arms and throwing this up and then just gave me this gaze. And yeah, I remember, yeah, just firing a couple of frames right here and yeah. So yeah, no crazy lighting either. Like you can tell she's kind of backlit or the sun was up high. I think this is probably midday. And
Mm.
we're out on the balcony of the apartment I was in and yeah, I just got this picture and yeah, it kind of resonated with me and yeah, strong face and strong body language and yeah.
So you may have varying amounts of time that you're shooting with someone. So
Hmm.
what's your process for establishing a rapport and a connection with them to get the best out of them?
Great questions. Because of the limited time, especially like on somebody like that was very designated. I think we had maybe 2 hours or something. And questions and you know as much as you can to build that connection quick and try and understand like what it is that they like about shooting. I always ask, do you guys, as a model, do you have any pet peeves with other photographers? Some of them will give hints or clues, and so that's a good way to know how to conduct yourself during that shooting, whether it's like, do you guys like direction, do you not like direction, do you want me to tell you what I think as we're going. Some models are like, Bram, as much direction as you can, that's what I would like. Some say no, I just tell me what you want to do and I'll move and we'll shoot. So I think it's that. I think a little bit of jokes, trying to be trying to lighten the mood, because anytime you meet somebody, especially as a male photographer, and you have a female model, it's trying to find that balance and break down, how do I say, like, it's unique. It's a situation, so you want to try and make everybody comfortable and put everybody at ease within a couple of moments. So I'm trying to be, lighthearted, some jokes, like I said, and just trying to get the comfort level up quick and just, I always tell them most of the time we're not here trying to change the world. We're not curing cancer today. Unfortunately, we're just here to take some photos and have a good time. So
Mhm.
just try and yeah, build that rapport as quick as you can and just be friendly and just yeah, do the best you can for both sides.
Nice.
So
So you're living down there in California and loving
yeah.
life. And I saw when I was going through your portfolio, I saw a photo. So it's a surprise bonus photo. We're
Oh
gonna bring
no.
up in a
Oh my
sec.
god. Oh my god. Wow.
But my wife and I, my family, I've been living in Alberta for about a year, and we're in northern Alberta now. And we just fall in love with the culture out here. And one of the things that everybody out here loves is their ritual of a Sunday night episode of Yellowstone. And
Ah,
in the Taylor Sheridan universe, there's an individual that I caught on your website. He's just been introduced as a new sheriff on
yes.
Yellowstone, and Mr.
Oh my
Rob
god.
Kirkland. So you got
Oh
to
my
shoot
god.
this guy. Tell me about this shoot.
Yeah, gosh, I should. I almost grabbed a photo of him because I know he was. I mean, yeah, I know he's kind of getting some traction now, and yeah, I should have put one in him. He's gonna be super excited when I show him this and that you pulled this up. So thanks. So actually, this is amazing that you pulled this in. Rob and I go back. This is gonna totally date myself, TJ. We probably go back like 20 years, maybe even a little bit more. God, I don't want to date myself that 20 years, maybe even a little bit more. God, I don't want to date myself that hard. Um, so Rob and I used to work together in mortgage finance in the 90s. Oh my God, that's so long ago. So Rob was living down in Orange County and always had this dream. He wanted to be an actor. And and so we were working and I was doing the 9 to 5, he was doing the 9 to 5, and he would hustle, man. He would hustle to Los Angeles after work, go to castings, and really just, I mean, he would just do it. And then one day he picked up and he's like, I'm moving to Los Angeles. And so he could be closer. And oh my God, yeah, I love these. And so yeah, so he's in the city, and man, like I always look up to him because he's always had the grind, and so now I know what it's like to be a freelance guy and to kind of keep moving. And so yeah, so he's been in LA, and he's had some other couple small breaks. He was on CSI, Criminal Minds, I think. And then yeah, when he told me he was auditioning for this, I was super psyched. And yeah, so now he's in the Sheridan Universe, and he's on Yellowstone, and then I think he's also on Mayors of Kingstown,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
another syndicated. Yeah, so
yeah.
um, yeah, so yeah, cool guy. So we go back a long time. He was actually when I first wanted to start shooting with people. I asked him, and he was living in LA, and I was like, "Hey, I want to do this. Can we shoot?" And yeah, he was like super open to it. And so he was probably one of the first handful of people I actually shot as like one on one.
Mm.
And yeah, man, he's a good friend of mine, and yeah,
That's
I
such
can't
a
believe
cool
both.
look to him too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He's such a cool guy too. He's gonna be super psyched when he watches this. So yeah,
So
thanks for pulling that one.
is this like your styling, his styling, or
Both. So I think we're styled here in some Buck Mason attire, which I think he's getting some help with. And he was like, I want to do this kind of like rural setting, and so yeah, he had this stuff, and I think I actually had a test shoot with another model, and so it was me, Rob, and the other model, and so we all three went out into Malibu, and we're up in the canyons here, and kind of just driving around looking for complementary colors. And he had this kind of like dark jacket, white shirt, and he has a couple good outfits, and so I was looking for something that get some texture in the background, and we're kind of just out in the hills looking for some browns and greens, and yeah, I came up in this field, and he had this outfit on. Yeah, we started shooting, and then like you're scrolling through the other set, we're kind of doing some pulled back shots and environmental things, and yeah, so cool. Thanks for bringing that up.
no, no worries.
Yeah,
So do you in your just kind of in your day to day, do you like to
yeah.
investigate other photographers' work? And if so, like who do you like to seek out, and what kind of photography do you enjoy consuming?
Great question. Yeah, I'm looking at more photographers' work than models' work at this point, because I'm looking for inspiration, and I think that's how you grow as an artist is working on your own craft, but also looking at others for um, yeah, for inspiration. And I look at some Pinterest. I do look at other like magazines. Perfecto, I think, is one. I think I subscribe to Vogue and Harper's Bazaar and things. So I'm just trying to take like little bits and pieces anytime I can of you know of what else is going on out there, and kind of keeping my finger on the pulse while still trying to be my own artist. I'll
Mm.
never feel like I'll shoot high wedding dress couture stuff. Like it's just not in me, and it's not in my heart. I could technically, but I'm still going to be true to like who I think I'm an artist, which is that kind of Southern California, Pakistan, Free People, those type of like more kind of that's my style. Um, but yeah, I'm always looking at other photographers. I don't know, just scrolling through Instagram and trying to find people that I think are doing good work. Trying to find more inspiration with like color grading and post processing side. I think is always big for me. Is like what's happening, what's catching my eye, what are brands like, what are other brands posting that I like. What type of work are they showcasing, and what type of people are they hiring. I think it's big for me to kind of keep an eye on.
Nice. So, all right, what kind of photographs, if any,
Mm.
do you have displayed and hanging around your own home?
I was in my old house, I was doing kind of a, like my own, like I had like about 10 like black and whites I had printed 8x10s and framed up. Just some special moments that I thought were really cool. At one point I was working on like a small coffee table book. I wanted to do what was called like a turtleneck series. And it was just during each test session, I was just doing maybe a quick 10 minutes of girls shot on film in a black turtleneck against like the plainest background I could find. So it's still kind of like a project that's like looming a little bit in the back. So maybe I'll do that. I'll kind of like I'll still do that every now and again. But other people's photographs, like I said, I'm looking at just Vogue on the ground, some other kind of like more commercial stuff like men's health, men's fitness. I kind of keep an eye on just other marketing, more commercial stuff. And I'm always looking at like brands I like Free People. So anytime they put out a catalog, I've got that. Some of the more menswear I like, it's going to be like Buck Mason. So again, just trying to find like a good blend of what's commercial and kind of like what kind of color toning is going out, what are brands like, what kind of content are brands putting out, and what's going in those catalogs. So it's a little bit of everything. And then some classics I always look at are going to be, um, like you have like the Bruce Webbers and the Mario Testinos. So yeah, I just try and kind of keep an eye on some olds and some news, and try and find what makes me happy to look at.
Nice.
Yeah.
So outside of just doing your research and staying on top of current trends, what would you say if you were to kind of give some, gold nugget of advice to people that would like to, photographers that would like to jump on board and get hired by or work with brands? What was your tactics for getting on board with those? Like what could they do to do that better?
Wow. I'm still building my career and my brand. I wish I had a ton. Trying to make contacts, working with other photographers. The best thing that's happened to me is, like I said, is being kind of brought under the wing of some other guys that I really look up to, and watching what they do, not only from like client interaction to lighting setup. I'm just trying to get my hands on set as much as I can, and I still do a lot of other like assisting for photographers. I also do some digital tech work. And for those that don't know, it's just basically when the photographer's on set, usually if they're shooting digital, they are tethered into a computer, and there's this person manning that station, digital tech, and they're kind of managing files, making sure the client gets all the assets at the end of the day. So I'm doing a little bit of everything right now to stay busy and stay active and kind of keep going, and just staying energized by being on set, watching what other people do. But like I said, as far as trying to get a lot of more clients, big thing for me right now is just client outreach. I'm trying to practice cold emailing, following up, making phone calls. I'm where I live. There's kind of a big, how do you say, like a thoroughfare down like our main boulevard that's kind
Mm.
of lined with some boutiques. So I printed some like 4x6 lead behinds, and next week, once we get some sun again, I'm just going to go door knocking and try and drum up some business. So I wish I had the key to success, man. I'm just, I'm just one guy trying to make it here too, and just trying to get my little piece and stay busy.
Awesome. Well, I want
Yeah,
to thank you for coming on the show today. It's
of
been an
course.
honor and a pleasure to speak with you.
Same.
Any current projects, anything you want to draw people's attention to outside of the links we have bottom and the little ticker going across the screen?
I'm working on some things. Like I really want to expand my portfolio, and there's some things I have in the works. I'm just trying to mood board some things. I really want to do more produced shoots. Like I have a couple ideas that I want to do something in the mountains, maybe more like a Patagonia vibe. And then I'm working with a lighting tech and a friend of mine who has some property down south, and do a very like kind of like mountain inspired, but more how would I say, like more more rural, but still kind of more of like a fashion based shoot,
Mm.
very styled. And then I want to incorporate more, how to say, more of a couple shoot, whether it's a couple female models or a guy and girl, more storyboarded stuff,
Mm.
more like a spec shoot basically. So full wardrobe, makeup artist, location, lighting, and really think it through, and try and elevate the portfolio. Because I think where I'm at is I'm happy, but I know it could be better. And I think if I really want to attract those type of clients that I'm looking at, then I think the work's got to be available. It could always be better. So I think that's the plan, is in the first quarter. Once we get so it'll be coming.
Awesome.
It'll be coming. So yeah.
I hear a lot of photographers they'll praise your sunlight and praise the natural light, and I'm one of them. Like I love the natural light, but
Yeah.
I think sometimes we can use that. I don't know. I'm only a natural light shooter. It's because
Mm.
we're afraid of, afraid of learning, afraid of learning how to use lights, or
Yeah.
maybe it's in our head. We're afraid of the cost of a huge lighting setup or whatever. We start to think that it's going to start to get beyond control. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'd encourage everybody to do what you're doing, to just take it on.
Yeah, and I've been that guy too, and just like, oh, I don't know anything about studio, I don't know anything about light, and but the only way to learn is just to get hands on. I mean, there's only so much YouTube you can watch, and until you can actually get out there. And that's a couple of guys that are helping me. Is like, Bram, you just gotta gotta spend a day in the studio and just, you know, get it going. Like look at some lighting patterns you like, and then just try and emulate it, and you'll figure out, you know, this is what it takes. And it's not always about the best gear. And yeah, we always get hung up on like, oh, I need the latest camera, and I need the you know, the best lighting modifier. And yeah, I mean, there's something to that. I think like in with some modifier, sure, you can see some difference, but yeah, I'm really trying not to be like too caught up in gear, because I think the best camera you have is the one you have on you. I see people with a lot less gear than I've got making way better images. So I just, yeah, don't get caught up in gear. Don't get caught up in the best, you know, tech, and just, you know, go out there and create, and just do it with your heart, and yeah, you'll make great images.
Awesome. Bram, again, I want to thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, TJ. I really appreciate the time, man, and all the kind words, man. It was great exercise. And yeah, so glad that we could find a link and catch up.
Likewise. All right.
All right,
Cheers.
my
Talk
man.
to you soon.
Thanks, bud.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Yeah. So we're done there.